Hey everyone, today we're going to be going over the study guide. I'm going to be doing a few problems with you, not all of it, and then let you get going on your own. Before I get started here, I want to say if you would like to do all of your work first, then check it using this video, that might be an awesome strategy. If you'd like to start with this video, work along with me, and then go and do the others, that's also an awesome strategy. The answer key to this will be posted online on this assignment, so you'll be able to go and check your answers there before our test tomorrow. This is pretty much a replica of what's going to be on the test. So if you struggle on this on the study guide, know that that's something that you might struggle with on the test. All right, we're going to jump into it here. So first up, we have questions about naming the property. I'm not going to go over these right now, but I'm going to let you know that these are something that would be a great thing to have in your notes. Those properties, the commutative, and if we remember, the commutative changes order. Associative changes parentheses. And then there is the identity properties. Take a look at those. There's one for multiplication. There's one for addition. Something like C times 0 equals 0. Or excuse me, C times 1 equals C is what I meant to say. Or C plus 0 equals C. Things that you should look at if you don't have in your notes already. If you can't look at these and name them, make sure you're able to do that. Get that in your notes. Moving on here, we're going to number 6. Use the distributive property to multiply. Steps for using the distributive property. This first number multiplies there and multiplies here. This is something that you should all look at. I saw a lot of mistakes of this. This first number multiplies to each. 7 times negative y. We're allowed to do that. That becomes negative 7y. 7 times negative y, we times those just like we would a regular number. We have a positive and a negative. It's going to be a negative number. 7 times y. We keep this. Put it right in the middle. Plus. And then we take 7 times the 5, which is 35. That would be your answer there. A way I could write this out step by step. Do that real quick for you. Plus 5. I'd love to see those arrows even on a test. Can rewrite this as 7 times negative y plus 7 times 5, which simplifies to negative 7y plus 35. So you take that first number, distribute to the front, distribute to the back. Once you get to the end, if you don't have like terms, you can't put them together. I cannot put negative 7y plus 35. They're not like terms. I can divide and multiply to variables, but cannot add and subtract them. Those are like terms. If you don't know what that means, that's a nice thing to look for. Look in your 2.2 lesson. Do those other ones doing the same way. Moving up top here, simplify the expression. Ooh, we're talking again about like terms. They give us 9g plus 4g. Think about those if those are like terms. Yes, they are. I know they are because they have the same variables. If they have the same variables, if they match up perfectly, they are like terms. So I can add these up just like I would a regular number. 9g plus 4g is going to be 13g. Take a look at these next two. As you're doing them, think about those like terms. Think about if there's something that you can add together. When you get to this one, start by using that distributive method, and then from there, combining your like terms. Think about PEMDAS there as well. Moving on here, I'm not going to solve this one for you just because it's the only one on here, and I'd like for you to do it yourself. But remembering those coefficients, you're going to be naming them here, so you're going to be looking and finding them. The coefficients is the number before a variable. Real quickly, we're just remembering that if it were to look something like this, a negative 2x minus 3y plus y, the coefficients there would be those numbers before. So negative 2, negative 3, and there's an imaginary 1 right here. So for this one right here, our coefficients would be negative 2, negative 3, and 1. There's an imaginary 1 sitting before that y. Oh, sorry if you couldn't see that there at the bottom. A little off track. Take a look at that, though, for a second. So right here we have negative 2x, negative 3y plus 1y. That could maybe just look like negative 2x minus 3y plus y. Remember, there's an imaginary 1 sitting there. Like terms, we talked about those. You should be able to pull those out of here. Remember, they have to have the same variable to be like terms. And our constants have no variable. So those are the numbers that aren't attached to anything else. Going on to 13, state whether the equation is true, false, or an open sentence. I remember my open sentence means it has a variable. So right away I can look to see if it's an open sentence, see if I have a variable in there. Nope, there's no letters in there, so I have to solve this one, see if it's true or false. This is where my PEMDAS comes in. Looks like we have a chance to practice a few different things. Over here we're going to distribute. Over here we're doing our PEMDAS. Start with our parentheses. 5 minus negative 5. I remember my Mr. Aaron's rule is that can become a plus. Double negatives next to each other. Keep those in the parentheses there. Becomes 14. Negative 5 times 14 equals, distribute this out, 7 times negative 2. 7 times negative 2. Keep that plus. 7 times 5. That simplifies to negative 14 plus 35. Can do some quick math though. I know there's more positives and negatives, but I'm going to subtract these. Gets us to, let's see here, 121 on this side. Now on this side I got to solve. Oh my goodness, I just keep going off the paper. Sorry, take a second to catch up there. So I distributed this side, took the next step, and finally simplified that to negative 14 plus 35. Subtracted those, got 21 on that side. Over here, put those together, double negatives made a positive. Now I'm to here, negative 5 times 14. I know it's going to be a negative number, so I can already tell from this that these are not going to be equal to each other, but we'll finish the problem. 14 times 5 is 20. 5 to 70. Negative 70 is not equal to 21, so this would be false. Good work. We got 4 more here. Looking at this one, write an equation for the word, for this word problem is the given value of solution, prove it. A farmer sees 56 cows. Immediately I'm writing down 56, getting those big numbers down, out of his barn. He knows that he has 83 cows altogether, so I'm guessing that 83 is going to be what this is equal to. Let C represent the number of cows that are still in the barn. So we know cows outside the barn plus cows that are inside the barn equals 83, because there's 83 total. And they say, are 33 cows still in the barn? We're going to check this out. First, we're going to simplify this. In order to do that, get the variable by itself. We got 3 rules here. 1, get variable alone. 2, use inverse operation. 3, whatever you do to one side, you know the rest, you have to do to the other. We're going to do that right now. Get the variable by itself. In order to do that, inverse operation. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. Subtraction. 7 to C would equal 27. So C, no, cannot be 35. Are there 35 cows in the, or 33 cows in the barn? No, there are not. Similar ideas right here. We're doing those same steps, trying to get that variable by itself using our inverse operations. That means if we're doing addition, subtraction, addition, multiplication, division, you know those, the opposite of each other, those inverse operations. We've talked about them. D minus 4 equals 12. To undo this, add 4 to each side. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do the other. These cancel out. You notice that D equals 16. Nice and simple. All right, moving down to the bottom here. We're graphing now. We talked about this last week. Graph the solution of the inequality on the number line. A is, how would I say this? I look at it, I hold up my L. I know that is less than, and I see that there's a little line underneath. So I know it's less than or equal to. Okay, and I know that it's going to be at 5. I'm looking, is this going to be an open or closed circle? It is going to be closed because it has that line underneath. And finally, you have to say this nice and slow. 5 is the bigger number. It's getting eaten. So I know A is less than 5. A is going to be any number that side or equal to 5. That's how your graph should look for that one. Do those similar things on the back here. Same ideas. When we're looking at this one, remember that word inequality. That just means greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, less than, equal to. All of those not equal to. Use one of those to write that out. And I'm going to do one more with you right here. And we're going to graph this. So first we're going to solve it. We do this just like we do our equations. We get that variable by itself. Right now it's 8 times n. To undo that multiplication, we're going to divide each side by 8. Whatever we do to one side, have to do to the other. Leaves me with m. Keep that inequality sign. A negative divided by a positive is going to be a negative. And I know that's negative 4. So on here, I got to draw out my points. I'm going to write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. I see it's going to be at negative 4. So I put my circle there to start. Open or closed. It's going to be open. Now I say it nice and slow. M is, it's an L, less than negative 4. I know M is going to be smaller than negative 4. Take those nice and slow. You got the rest of this. Check your work once you get done. And let's do awesome on this test tomorrow.